接下来我们会在主场迎战 RW。首先他们的打法就是可能比较偏4保1一点。以前司马老师也是在我们这里打过，我们也很熟悉他，他也很了解我们，所以只要我们不要被扩大优势就好了。
Well, you just heard from World 6 saying perhaps if they don't find themselves getting taken advantage of by the bottom lane of Rogue Warriors, things are going to go fine for them. I can already see you just tensing up a little bit, Rez, after that game one. Because that's exactly what happened.
I mean, it wasn't even a protection comp. It was more like we're going to kill the bottom lane. Like the entire team is just going to pile on you. So that's what happened. I mean, now they have to expect to go in a game too.
Yeah, it didn't quite work out for them. Of course, we did just hear during the break that the likes of SMLZ on Varus, undefeated on the champion. Before this game, he had a KDA of 48 with a single death. Now, with this next death that he received in that last game, that's his second. So his KDA goes down from 48 to about 30 or so, if my math doesn't fit. My napkin math here doesn't fail me. But how on earth do you deal with this? They know this would be the problem, but they still just had to try to survive, I guess?
It's a learning period. It actually is, because if OMG believe they're going to take a game against Rogue Warriors, they must have had a phenomenal practice period. Or
they really should have.
They are delusional. So like, there are two of those. And right now, OMG going up against these strong teams, the second best team in the East, the third best team in the East. Like, they're going up against some massive teams, and they need to be able to jot some notes down, recognize, well, how is this gank possible? And then just kind of, you have to work it out. Sure, you get a lot of, I would say, improvement points in scrims, but on the stage is when you get the most out of it.
Absolutely. Tragically, we didn't see too much improvement from them in game one, though we have a chance for them to try and turn things around here, looking at this game two in front of us. Raz, we're going to be seeing some subs in a moment from the likes of OMG. We'll talk about them once they pop up onto the screen, but this is what you and I were talking about, right? We're bringing in new players for the likes of OMG, and meanwhile, we're kind of wondering, why are they bringing in new players when I don't think it was the players' fault that they managed to fall apart there? Is it just bringing in somebody new and fresh to try to reboot the morale? The morale of the team?
Yeah, it could be morale, and a lot of it comes down to giving players a chance. Remember, we're in a franchise period, so getting the ability to experiment, especially against stronger teams, it's a positive thing. Remember, for TOP, when they were trying to figure out how to deal with it, sure, they ultimately came down to just purchasing Marin, getting him on the team, but they also brought in Moyu, because Moyu was an upgrade to Lies. And so finding that, the only way you'll find that, scrims is one way to do it, but putting them on stage is another. So like, the biggest thing, of course, for the team, for me, has been communication. And guess what new players do? Revamps communication. Could be for the worse, but you get a different perspective.
It very well could be for the better. Perhaps this is the roster that OMG have been scrimming with that led them to the conclusions that if we just keep our bottom lane safe, then we'll be fine. But already, you just saw Rogue Warriors step back on stage. They looked confident, they looked calm, they looked happy. This is a team that is gunning for first in the league. Right now, they're second just behind IG, but it's too close to call at this point.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you've got a free trip to Chengdu, enjoying the lights, enjoying the scenery, it's a bit of a vacation, and then you get to have a great game like this, then yeah, I'd be happy to.
So here are our subs, Raz. Xiyoung is stepping out for this game 2, and Casual is stepping in. Meanwhile, in the support role, 5 also going to be stepping out, and Maestro coming in for OMG.
This will be the first time we see of Maestro. Been hearing a lot about him, of course. Has been in the sub for the team for a very long time. He has a few fans, so if you do see some signs in the crowd for Maestro, there's a reason for it.
Is that a picture of SMLZ smiling?
He has a picture of it. Yes, someone has dug in and found it from the internet. It's unfortunate.
I'm scared now because SMLZ never smiles. We heard it from the casters.
He just smiled. You saw that picture. Not in right here, but you saw
I actually think that was Photoshop, Raz.
Uh-oh.
That's what I'm starting to think. If we actually see him smile in real life, as Clement was saying, the world could very well end.
I'm ready for it.
That could be it. There are two truths in the LPL, that Uzi never wins a title and that SMLZ smiles, never smiles.
Could happen here going up against his old team. We heard about the problems in the team last split, and if he takes them down this split.
Ooh, the juiciest revenge tour stop for the likes of Rogue Warriors. Of course, they're 3-0 so far on that revenge tour, but here it comes, the final game against OMG.
Yes, and now bringing this into it, like a big discussion, of course, of the new players for OMG. Casual starting. Last time we saw him, it was on the Aatrox pick. I want to see him play a tank. I want to see the Maokai. I want to see the Scion even.
Yeah.
Take the Scion away from the enemy team.
I was about to have to cut you off if he was like, I want to see him back on the Aatrox.
No, but yeah, put him on a tank, and hopefully that they can play towards the bottom lane a little bit more heavily.
Okay.
Meaning TP defense for the bottom lane if they get dived that early, and mid-game team fights. Hopefully they get that bit of help.
Well, we'll have to see if they can succeed in this. Our casters are now ready to get us into Game 2.
Thank you guys, and once again, OMG making substitutes midway through a series. Surprise!
Yeah,
this
surprise!
was unexpected.
Are you ready for blind pick Aatrox?
Oh, please don't do that.
He's done it the last time.
Yeah,
He's done it the last 2 times he played. He blind picked Aatrox. I'm not kidding.
No one is ready for blind. No one should ever be ready for blind pick Aatrox either. Hopefully, that's the surprise it might need against Rogue Warriors in this matchup. But I mean, we've seen the rotating door of the jungle for OMG, and we've seen them try out casual on the top side of the map as well. But now we have Maestro coming as support. 5 is a staple support in the LPL. He's well known as a very good support, and now they're taking him out in a crucial match against Rogue Warriors.
And that's a big reason about why we have so many question marks towards OMG. We don't really see why they're making the swaps. That's just true. So 5 has been their main initiator. He has been a lot of their shot calling, and without him on the team, we're not even sure how they're going to start a team fight.
We saw Worldstrix try on his Sejuani from time to time. There were a couple with ultimates coming out from their jungle position. But it seems like OMG will be trying something new going into match number 2 against Rogue Warriors. 2 substitutes coming in for this game. Rogue Warriors still staying with the same 5 members of their competition. No, that's the... I can't do words. Clement, tell me the bands, Clement, because I can't do words anymore.
All right. Karma, Caitlyn, Olaf. Big note here is still no Scion ban. They felt like Flawless's good early game came from the Olaf, so they're banning that instead. I would say it came more from the player, to be honest.
Well, Flawless is a great play. He picked up another solo kill for himself. He's already leading the LPL in solo kills from the jungle position. He is a hunter, as we like to call him. Karma, Caitlyn still banned up by OMG. And Swain, Galio, Camille, 3 bans come up from Rogue Warriors, once again locking in Icon's champion of Rise first.
This is a very interesting Swain ban, because originally we assumed that the Swain was because of the top lane, but OMG already switched up their top lane. They're still banning Swain, so
Swain's
could it possibly be an Icon?
Platypus of a champion, that's what he is. Scion gets locked in with Tom Kent's. Rogue Warriors pick up a tanky front line first.
Alright, so Rogue Warriors are setting up for a very, very strong tanky front line and also hyper carries basically. Their game pace, might slow down a little bit just with that Tom Kench pick.
If they lock in Alistar here, I'm going to be incredibly confused because that's one of 5 signature picks. Maestro will have his chance to the champion in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and we're going to have to see if a rookie can engage as well as 5 can, and that's been the big problem with rookies. A lot of times they're not able to pull the trigger when it's necessary.
No, I just wanted to pick up Hextech Flash so we can see Raz and Dom Hex Flash to the desk again. That was pretty great.
Oh yeah, the Alistar preaching to the choir.
I don't know. Dom's Hex Flash was pretty cool. Raz was not really into it. It's kind of disappointed by it.
Nah, I don't think Dom is doing it right. He's like shaking up a giant cookie jar.
What the heck is that? That's a Dr. Mundo.
Oh, I love Dr. Mundo.
Why is there a Dr. Mundo?
So he's casual. That's why. That's the only explanation.
He's in the professional LPL league. He is not casual. We've actually moved away from the ban pick phase. So it could be
Those are saying SMLZ, please marry me. So I guess there's still a lot of Rogue Warrior fans, SMLZ fans specifically in Chengdu.
Comment, will you marry SMLZ?
I'm sorry, I'm already taken.
But we'll have to figure out what's going on here because Dr. Mundo was locked in for OMG. And normally when we cut away from Pixar Band screen, it means something's gone wrong with the client. And we have had some difficulties with the client recently when it comes to Pixar Bands.
It's so hard to tell though, because that is something that casual would do. Blind pick Dr. Mundo.
Why? Why would you pick Dr.
My
Mundo?
only explanation would be that OMG does need a doctor.
I don't know what to say to you anymore.
Well, they do need one to fix their problems.
Do they need a mad doctor at the moment? Dr. Mundo is insane.
You know, I used to play a lot of Dr. Mundo. I still do. He's quite a fun champion.
He was a great champion. In the current meta, he's not that great.
I grew up with Asian parents. I could have been a doctor or a lawyer. I went into esports, and this is my way of, showing my parents that I can still do it. I main Dr. Mundo.
Man. He's at Massachusetts and throws infected cleavers at people. Is that what you really wanted to do besides working in esports, Clement?
He's really fun to play, though. And if the enemy doesn't build Executioner's Calling, then it's fine. You know, Executioner Calling is the biggest contributor to Doctor Without Borders.
Oh, goodness. But it's probably a misclick there. We've been told the pick ban has been restarted, so we'll get back into that shortly. No Dr. Mundo. Yeah, it does seem like the right meta for him, though. We see a lot of ability power damage, which Dr. Mundo does well against. We see even 80 carries going towards the attack speed on hit route, which is good for Dr. Mundo as well.
Yep, so the reasons it would be good is that we're not seeing a lot of fighters in the top lane, so nobody's going to be building Executioner's Calling, and also that Morellonomicon has been a much less frequent purchase, I should say. But overall, I still don't think he's a very good champion. We did see Marin try it a couple of times in the LCK last split. Didn't work out very well.
But as we said, it's probably a misclick there coming up from OMG, which, come on. It was Icon's turn to select the champion. It's not like Icon is new to the LPL or anything. You should know that he needs to lock in the champion they want by then. But when you get back into picks and bans, curious to see what OMG are going to shake things up with, because staple pick from Icon, he's got Ryze. They picked up Alistar, as their support. But Casual, he's a wildcard player. I mean, you said he's picked up Aatrox, blind picked.
Twice, by the way.
Make it stop.
So finally, one OMG fan right here has an icon signal on her head. The all previous ones were Maka, Please Marry Me, which is SMLZ. And SMLZ, I would love to see you smile.
Is that one of the fan signs that was there?
That was one of the fan signs.
Well, we got to see him smile. We had his picture.
That was photoshopped.
Are you sure?
No.
He's got to smile eventually. Uzi will win the title eventually. SMLZ's got to smile eventually.
Ooh, which one do you think happens first, though? That's a good question.
I think if SMLZ smiles after beating OMG in this set, if he does beat OMG, then it's like a prophecy that Uzi will win this split as well.
Ah, okay.
Is it not?
Yeah. Like, I think the universe would collapse and we'd wake up in a simulation. But yeah,
Clement,
might happen.
I don't understand. Casting View, you talk about locking members of RNG in a basement. You compared Billy Gaming to a platypus. And then now you're saying that if me smiles, we are going to be put into a simulation.
No, we're going to wake up from the simulation.
Oh, we're going to wake
Yeah, because there's like a glitch in the Matrix or something. And I have to correct you. It was locking WE members in a basement. Just so that's clear.
That doesn't make it any better.
All right, here we go in the match, though. So OMG, they're changing up their draft, and they're not picking into the Mundo.
Yeah, so... Okay, that's not an Alistar that's going to be locked in for OMG, so they go for the Cogwheel. So it seems like it was the pick that World 6 went for, which was the mistake coming out from their picks and bans, but we've been able to restart it. Bans are exactly the same, just these last two picks are not. Kog'Maw and Braum on their bottom lane picks of choice.
Oh, I like the Kog'Maw pick away because Rogue Warriors were setting up for a very strong hyper carry, and Kog'Maw is one of those options. Taking that away from SMLZ, always a smart thing to do.
Spaloz will get his hands on Kha'Zix once again. It's one of his staple champions when Lee Sin used to be banned out against him constantly. We haven't seen him pick up Lee Sin since the change to Tracker's Knives, not even the SFM going towards the champion. Teams have stopped banning it against him.
Yep.
I feel like that's a mistake, because one day he's just going to pull it out and remind everyone.
Lee Sin on this patch, it's very hard to execute. It costs you a lot more to do ward hops. You need to do it with the control ward. So basically, Flawless has been on the Olaf as his first priority whenever possible.
But didn't go for Sejuani, though. And Sejuani was left open. Rogue Warriors decided to ban it as their first ban. That would be one of the more heavily prioritized junglers in the current meta.
Yeah. I think Sejuani is just one of those champions where if you're playing against a lower tier team, you always want to ban it out because it's one that's capable of creating turbulence. It's very hard to completely track where Sejuani can gank from just because she can do a very long range lane gank.
You hear it here first. Clement says Sejuani creates turbulence. Great counter to Corki. Run it against Corki in the mid lane. Final ban that comes out from Rogue Warriors is going to be Gangplank. whereas Nah was the top lane ban that came up from OMG.
Sorry, that took me a while to understand. It's like, whoa. Oh.
Wait, didn't you say you could have been a doctor or a lawyer and that took your...
Hey, I want you to know, I went to the best university in Taiwan.
Whoa.
Okay?
Are you going to tell me that your dad owns a dealership as well next? Come on.
No, he's an academic. But let's go on. They're going to ban Alvarez.
This is the final ban that comes out from OMG. So SMLZ, what does he pick up here? No Barris from the work with. We know that he can go back towards hyper carries, and Rogue Warriors normally lock in one as their 4th pick.
Oh.
Jinx gets locked in for SMLZ.
So far, he has been the only player to play the Jinx. Oh, actually, excuse me. There's someone else. So he's played 2 games on the Jinx so far. Definitely a champion that he is familiar on.
The only successful Jinx.
Yes, the only successful Jinx. And that's why SMLZ is such a dangerous person, because he has so many picks in that hyper carry slot. He has... basically, from the Jinx, the Caitlyn, to the Kog'Maw, and the Tristana, and the Twitch as well. So it's really hard to shut his compositions down.
I believe we saw Jinx be played against between H2K and Rocket as well, and had a very successful game there.
Oh yeah, the patches to the buffs to Jinx are very substantial. Basically, she is able to, if she gets a kill and then she swaps over to her Q, she gets 65% extra attack speed. So that's a massive buff for her in terms of cleanup.
Make it stop, Clement.
Are they gonna restart the ban pick again?
No. The graphic, the overlay is still up here. He locked it in before a couple of seconds were about to expire. Skarner in the jungle for World 6. Urgot in the top lane for Casual.
Well, that's not the worst matchup possible for Urgot. He is sitting at a 0% win rate. However, he is pretty good at bullying up other top laners.
Well, he's going to go up against Sion.
Or Cassiopeia. We've seen the Cassiopeia top in the LCK.
We have, but Doinby also plays the Cassiopeia into Rise. It was actually banned out against him in the first match.
Yep. I think the Cassiopeia makes more sense just because it is a counter to the Rise. It's one of the reasons that the LPL actually lets Rise through more of our ban picks, because we have good counters in the Orianna and the Cassiopeia.
So yes, Urgot's now more of a bruiser. He's not so much the long-range assassin he used to be before the rework. And he can bully out lanes, but can he bully out a Sion lane? This is the lane that most players are struggling against the most at the moment.
I don't understand the Urgot pick, because if you look at his team composition, what does the team do even if Urgot wins the lane? He's not a split push champion. He doesn't really have the mobility to do so. Wouldn't it just be better to go for a straight tank?
Look, one thing that people do overlook with Urgot is the fact that there are 3 very squishy champions on the team from Rogue Warriors here. And if the team is ever able to chunk him down and Urgot connects his ultimate, that player is dead. You're not going to be able to heal back up. You're not going to be able to lifesteal your way through it. You're not going to be able to sustain through it. You will die. And when you're up against a hyper carry team comp, that could eliminate one on.
That is SMLZ. Oh, wow. I guess the sneaky thing really changed the culture here. Or it may have been already here.
Sneaky W.
Sorry, but I got sidetracked by that picture. I was very attracted to it. Not really, but I was.
I just asked you if you would marry SMLZ, and you said no. And then now you're telling me you're incredibly attracted to that picture of him. Clement,
hey, the Photoshop skill there was tremendous. Look, okay, it looked like a natural picture.
Whatever helps you sleep at night. He wasn't smiling in that picture, so I do not believe that it was Photoshop. We're gonna talk about Urgot a little bit later. We shelved that discussion there. But this matchup for OMG, they've shaken things up, brought in 2 more substitutes. Casual starting the top lane. He's picked up an unorthodox champion once again, but Rogue Warriors are on fire at the moment, not only in this series, but also in the LPL. Let's get on to the Rift for game number 2.
Let's hear it from the Chengdu fans. Come on, guys, get a bit more hyped. Whoa, there was a lot of Rogue Warriors chants there as well.
I mean, we've already seen the signs that are in the Chengdu arena. Yes, there's a lot of OMG fans there, but everyone's coming to support SMLZ. It kind of makes sense. He was on OMG before. So it makes sense there are still a couple of fans that are affiliated towards AD carry. Mouse actually locking down both World 6's Casual. Oh no, we're getting a level 1 team fight. Doinby's taking Twin Fangs ball. He's flashing forward, looking for the damage. Mouse going forward as well. Everyone's just piling on in. Is that Moscow 5 or Rogue Warriors? Because Mouse just picked up first blood 1 minute into the game.
Oh, and what an unfortunate series of events from OMG. I don't understand why both of them are trying to invade. It made sense in game 1, they had the Braum and Sejuani, but this time around there's no hard CC there, so why even put yourself in that position?
We're going to get Flawless starting at the red buff. Skarner's gone all the way back to base, thanks to dying, and now he's going to get a no-leash start. The bottom side of the map. There's going to be some action in the bottom lane. Kalua's going to take some damage from Chelly and World 6, but he'll be perfectly fine. That's slowly pushing in for Jinx. But now we really have to talk about that top lane matchups. Glacier Orb may be picked up by Mouse. Casual's going for Unsealed Spellbook. Sion's picked up an early kill. Hasn't been able to spend that gold just yet, but you have to think after that first teleport, that matchup is going to be incredibly volatile now for Urgot.
Yeah, I think it's going to be even much harder. As Casual and as Urgot, the only thing you want to do is bully that top laner into submission. What you're looking for is your early item spike in that Black Cleaver and just try to chip away at him constantly. The previous Urgots we've seen have actually gone Demolish just for extra split pushing pressure. But this time around, I don't think we saw that being picked.
And sure, if you're using Urgot against a regular top laner, that could work out, but
Ultimate
it's a Sion.
Seriously?
Ultimate had in Transcendence.
That's hilarious, because the windows you can use your ult and have it be effective are so rare. It's not an ultimate you constantly want to use off cooldown, so that's just odd. Like, I'm actually really curious now what he's going to do with that pick.
I have a theory.
All right, here you
They've
go.
gone for Skarner as well as Ryze. So if World 6 pulls somebody who doesn't get saved by Kalua, Casual ults them. No matter what they throw at that champion, he is going to die.
So he just wants his ultimate hat because he can have his ult up whenever World 6 goes in. That's
Pretty much.
basically the
This
idea.
is my player-play analogy.
That's I think that's the only good reason he could come up with, to be honest. I still don't like the pick. I know Pulse is a huge Urgot player, but he's wrong. Urgot is not a very good champion. He doesn't split push well. He's very bad in late game team fights. He basically has his power spike in lane, and after it, he doesn't do anything.
We saw success from the Gigabyte Marines last year at the World Championships, pulling out of the top lane, and a lot of that was credited to their opponents saying, I don't know what Urgot does.
Yeah, I would say, first of all, that was against an NA team, and also they'd never seen it before, so that's that.
Come on.
What?
Disguising the BM.
Yeah, my producers are going to shut me down. They always want me to talk about NA. It's like, NA's a great region. It's like, but I don't watch it.
That's rude comment.
I'm sorry.
It's not very nice. But you're right, but it's not very nice. Tough time I can see Casual is pushing in Mouse underneath his turret, but again, it's a Sion. He's going to do perfectly fine. We'll have to check in with that matchup later on. Bottom lane, Chelly trying to be a little bit aggressive against SMLZ. Kalua gets locked down as well.
Yep.
This
So
is trades between the two hyper carries in the bottom lane.
early laning phase advantage still should go to the Kog'Maw. That's not a strong point for the Jinx.
Exhaust is being used as well as a flash Q coming out from Maestro, locking him down. Wall 6 in the bottom lane. Exhaust view, good, great health use coming out from Kalua. Is that going to keep him safe? SMLZ has no heal to save him. And it's OMG to get a kill in the bottom lane.
Yeah, this is really good. Transitioning the entire map towards the bot lane.
Aiko says, do you remember when you flashed on top of me? Oh no, there's a bug here. Am I in trouble? No, he's not. He gets the kill before Flawless gets the revenge kill.
Oh, that was so well played right there. Sidestepping and getting in between Flawless and SMLZ. If Flawless is able to block the last overload, that kill would not have gone over.
Close. But just like Graves, no cigar there. Because now the gold is completely even between these two teams. 2 kills picked up by each. A lot more proactive coming out from OMG in the early game.
Yeah, good roams coming out. Mid priority, very important in this early matchup.
Good start for Maestro as well. He just substituted in one of his first games as a support in the LPL. And was able to show that he was still very strong and able to go forward in that matchup against SMLZ and Kalua.
Yeah, the main thing there was that the communication between them and the jungler was massively improved. A lot of times I feel like my main criticism of OMG is that they seem to be on different planets with their jungler. They don't really synergize very well, but that gank, they all went in at the same time, and they were all committed to it, all blown with their flashes, and secured the first blood.
Top lane here, checking in with it again, still the same thing. It's basically 2 tanks battling it out, so we'll have to try and see what this Urgot pick's going to do for OMG later on. Glacier Orb being picked up by Sion, not going for the Comet pickup, which we see more frequently used, but it's not unorthodox to go Glacier Orb.
Yeah, what he's thinking right here is basically that, you know, I'm not going to get wave control anyway in this matchup early on, so I might as well pick something that will give me extra pressure in terms of the ganks. So Glacial Augment, I think it makes sense here.
We still haven't seen Flawless move towards top 7 now. He's been on the bottom lane, just trying to protect SMLZ earlier. That's where the fights have been taking place, besides First Blood, which was World 6, hello.
Ooh, bullying that matchup super hard. Remember that Rise did die earlier to Flawless, so it might be a little bit behind.
And although he got that extra kill above Doinby, Doinby was able to stick in the mid lane and he has a 10 to 15 CS lead.
Yep, we should expect that in this matchup. These two are the pretty much the top mid laners in this patch.
Again, these two hyper carries just trading very early into the matchup.
It is important to note that for Jinx, one of the reasons that one of the ways that she was buffed is that her chompers will now stop anything that tries to go over. It will stop basically gap closers that try to move past her chompers. So we could see earlier in the gank how Maestro wanted to do it. It was he had to flash over the chompers basically.
He's the only one with a meaningful gap close. Yes, Urgot has one as well. It's a small dash, so Maestro can jump to his allies. It's not as effective as usual, but could still be something they have to watch out for. Pushing priority is still going to SMLZ and Kahlua. Kalua's been using his minion dematerializer quite aggressively. You see Maestro is still holding on to 2 of his. He has 4.
It's pretty interesting. So OMG should, in theory, have the trading advantage in the bot lane, but they're not doing so because they don't have the vision. This is a
two-prong attack from Rogue Warriors, though. It's Sion in the mid lane and Flawless in the bottom lane. Mouse just runs straight into the turret. Bottom lane, though, Flawless being able to get that gank going. They get the first kill down there. They also take down Icon at the same time. Casual's trying to chase down Doinby. Doesn't have enough damage, but flashes on top of Cassiopeia. Trying to go one-on-one. Very tanky. Just doesn't have enough damage, though.
Yeah, Casual used his ultimate way too early underneath the tower. I think that was a misclick for him, so not very well played. What he wanted to do was stick towards the Cassiopeia, finish the W, and then use his ultimate, but bit of a misclick there.
But Rogue Warriors threatening 2 parts of the map at once. They have Flawless in the bottom lane, they had Mouse rotating into the mid lane, both of which were successful ganks.
Yeah. Top lane priority transitioning it very well, and going into the pot lane at the same time. It basically means that they probably had some idea of where World 6 was, so able to pull up both sides.
Well, it's an unsealed spell will pick up for Icon, so he swaps out one of his summoner spells for Teleport, gets back into mid lane, pushes in against Doinby, was able to get back in time. He's actually a full level up over Icon, and Icon is one of the main carries for the team. For him to be this far behind Cassiopeia, it's not a good start for OMG. And slowly, they had some proactive plays in the other game here, which is what we want to see from OMG. They had one of that last match. Now they're a little bit more proactive. But it's Rogue Warriors again. They're able to constantly keep up the pressure.
Yeah, they need a lot more leads than this to really go further down the lane. And the reason we're saying this is because Icon has been kind of the big carry, try to keep his team afloat. Let's watch that again. Flawless completely unspotted because we're watching them both at the same time. Chelly should be able to walk past the choppers, falls down. This is just a snowball from Flawless being so far ahead.
Flash and heal was available for Chelly during that fight as well. Did not flash over the choppers. Did not try to heal out of any of the damage as well. Felt like he could have tried to survive there, but not effective.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was actually up at that point. They did expend it on the first gank.
True.
Yeah.
Could be down. Replay was telling me otherwise. Might be wrong. Spaghetti code after all. But Infernal Dragon is going to be picked up here by Rogue Warriors. Flawless gets that aggressive Dragon buff nice and early.
Really good for the Jinx. Typically goes the triple crit builds.
I mean, it's good for 3 of them, isn't it? Jinx, Cassiopeia, Kha'Zix, all very damage-focused champions. Build a lot of AP, a lot of AD.
A bit less for the Cassio, I'd say. Cassio usually starts with the Abyssal Mask and doesn't really scale up until a bit later in the game.
That's true. Stop changing your gun, SMLZ. Stick to 1. It's annoying. Oh, no.
There's actually a reason you do that. On the previous buff she received, if you swap your gun, you actually get a semi-soft auto attack reset. So your next attack will come within a set period of time.
Yeah. I just thought he was being a nuisance.
It's different than Alistar like shaking up his bell. Okay, it's there's some functionality in that.
That skin needs to be banned for better play. But Flawless looking to try to
I agree with you.
Make a return gank into the mid lane. Has to clear out a couple of control wards. World 6 is going to try and do the exact same. Actually saves his own control ward by threatening Flawless. Still hunting him though. He's going to be able to get the class into World 6, use his own ultimate there. So.
Icon, not really wanting to challenge. He's basically backing out already. he's not having a very good time in lane. If you look at the item advantage, Doinby has an extra Negatron cloak over him. So there's no way he's going to be able to stand up to any of the trades.
I mean, Icon does go towards the Abyssal Mask first, so he does have some extra magic resistance for himself too. He got the free boots as well to try and catch up to the advantage that Doinby has, but this game has been completely in Rogue Warrior's favor. Everyone is leading when it comes to CS. We haven't seen anything from the Urgot in the top lane. He made an aggressive play earlier, and he's also hit his item power spike with the Black Cleaver, but still nothing. Mouse is the one that has lane priority at the moment.
That really goes down to the early kill that Sion picked up. If you're playing an Urgot, you want to be ahead of the curve the entire game. Like, if you fall behind a tank and you can't push him anymore, you're pretty much a useless champion. I mean, you can kill steal, but that's pretty much it. And the kill steal fact was just to remind Pulse not to do it.
Oscana's going to try and make his way down into the bottom lane. He was definitely spotted out there, clearing out that ward at the end.
Yeah, very suspect from them.
And Rogue Warriors have a deep teleporting flanking ward, as our observers are kindly pointing out there. Constantly we see them make the same play, which is rotate Doinby and Flawless down to the bottom lane. If they need additional help, they can call upon Mouse to teleport down as well. OMG are trying to be a bit more proactive. They've already actually called upon Cash to be in the mid lane. World 6 flashing forward. Is able to lock down Kha'Zix. Enough damage. He's able to sidestep Maestro's Winter's Bite, but OMG gets the pick. And they're chasing for more. Doinby gets locked down. Thrown back over Casual's shoulder. Ultimate comes out from Casual. Can Doinby escape in time? No, he can't. The chains connect, and he gets the execute.
All right, that wasn't a kill steal. Well done, Casual. So what we're seeing right here is because Rogue Warriors, Flawless was very ahead in the matchup. He was constantly in the enemy jungle. So the moving pieces that OMG sent were actually their top laner and their support. And that really caught Rogue Warriors off guard. If their support and their top laner didn't come in for that, that actually wouldn't have happened. In a 2v2, I would give the advantage to Rogue Warriors. So good planning ahead and good utilizing of Casual.
It was there.
Yeah.
World 6 flashing over, just locks down Flawless. Easy pick for OMG.
Yeah, he was thinking the 2v2 should be fine here. Doinby was ahead in the matchup, but surprise, Urgot here.
Doinby, no ultimate as well. He used it to try and protect Flawless, not enough. And there it is, there's no escape. Once those chains hit you and you fall below a certain amount of health, you are going to die.
Yeah. I wonder if you can do like a fishing trick with it. So if Killua tries to swallow someone, then you get Killua as well. That would be completely broken, but...
I used to know how all the interactions work, but it's been a while since I looked at it.
Yeah, I don't think the Devour saves you.
Depends on the timing. There's still more trades on the top side of the map. Flawless is going to make his way up towards the top lane. It's a very tanky Urgot, but again, Mouse is doing perfectly fine in the lane, even after the kill was picked up by Casual. And surprised to see them kind of play around the top side of the map, because Mouse does have teleport available at the moment, whereas Casual does not.
Yep, they want to contest blue buff.
They've caught out Icon. Doinby's even going to flash for it, but Miasma is not in time. Allows Icon to flash away. He's looking to steal blue buff, though.
Good timing on it. Top lane is winning by quite a bit. So Mouse didn't use his teleport to join anything. And if you look at his CS score and his items, he's still pretty far ahead in terms of the lane with Casual. So he's able to exert that pressure and kind of outpush him at this point.
Whereas in the bottom lane, it's still in SMLZ's favor. He's up in terms of CS. Yes, he's down a kill. Compares to the Cogboard. Charlie's already been able to pick up the Rage Blade. But Infinity Edge is almost complete for SMLZ. Might go towards Static Shift first after picking up the two main AD items.
Yep, as a Jinx, I feel like you always want to go for the Runan's Hurricane.
As they've pushed top lane here, OMG are trying to make her rotate towards the bottom side of the map. Both Flawless, sorry, not Flawless, World 6 and Icon looking to try and see if they can collapse. But look how safe Rogue Warriors bottom lane duo are playing.
Oh.
They actually just used the Tahm Ken's ultimate
Yeah.
and run into the mid lane. They
That
don't want
was
anything
so
to do with that
intelligent.
game. Realm's going to come out from OMG to try and get them back towards that mid lane, but Jinx is going to try and push this one through.
It's a bit short though, yeah, and actually Rogue Warriors come out ahead of the tower trade in terms of just like the tempo being exerted here, and they also swap Mouse towards the bot lane, so they get the tower first and they get the chip damage on the mid.
Here he goes, Choo Choo Train's going to run straight down the bottom lane. Flawless is coming down as well. Chelly does have flash available. Can he get out in time? Maestro's there to try and protect him. The slam comes out. Ultimate comes out from Jinx as well. He's locked down even further. Flawless is going to try and jump in. Immediately flashes back out. Doesn't want anything to do with that cogball. But Maestro is now the sacrificial lamb as Rogue Warriors pick off OMG support.
That was so well played by Rogue Warriors, and this is why we're saying they're the cleanest team to play in the LPL. Sure, IG might have the better players, but Rogue Warriors, they have the better rotation, the better macro sense. Able to read what OMG are doing and then instantly punish them for it. That was just beautiful.
I said I didn't understand why they're playing towards top side map. Well, that's why, because SMLZ and Kahlua can play safe, rotate to the mid lane, try and take turrets there. They still save their bottom lane outer turret and get good damage in the mid lane outer. Mouse was able to take down the top lane outer with the help of Flawless as well. He moves back towards the top lane.
Yep. And that's one of the big nerfs that will be coming for Sion. Currently, he's very hard to track. Even if he doesn't have his teleport, he can still show up in lane. But in 8.5, we're going to cut that by 1 minute.
Here he comes.
Oh, poor Charlie. What's up? And he gets later grounded. That was a really good Jinx ultimate.
He gets
Super
locked
mega
down, but
rocket.
Flawless just decides he doesn't want to fight that. Flashes away immediately, and poor Meisha just gets caught out.
Yep. Well, they could have tried to put more pressure on the bot lane instead of saving their AD carry. That would have gotten them a little bit more chip damage, but it's kind of nitpicking at that point.
The turret is incredibly low in the bottom lane. A single auto attack from many of them, so OMG should be able to take that down. Rogue Warriors are not trying to hold on to it too aggressively, but just trying to see or delay OMG that play.
And so far, even though Rogue Warriors have a substantial lead, it will come down to one big team fight. And that's what I'm very excited about this game. We have 2 hyper carries coming out from both sides. So looking for the gank here from World 6.
That's going to be the push that OMG need to take down the turret. World 6 is just there trying to protect his bottom lane, so to speak.
Yep. Very good read from both sides, not overcommitting. They don't feel a strong urge of defending that, just lets it go. Here we have Urgot coming from the top side, though.
Predator's been used, but Flawless and Doiby are already away. Gank attack fizzles out from World 6.
Just imagine if that Urgot was something like a Maokai. I think it would just be better in every single way.
So we've seen 1 kill being picked up by Casual.
Yes, we have.
He's 10 CS behind the side, but actually trying to lock down Doimi in the mid lane first. Cassio been taking quite a bit of damage. Sarah's Embrace gives him such a big shield. Kalua's already rotated. Mouse is already here. SMLZ is getting excited, running deeper into the back line. Shelly's being caught out. He's a sitting duck. SMLZ's allowed to pick up another one. Now the rest of Rogue Warriors are coming in. SMLZ gets another for himself, still going forward. That turret is very low. Rogue Warriors can look to try and take that after the team fight. But OMG looked for the pick and it goes disastrously wrong.
Yeah, Rogue Warriors read that play so well. They understood that the bot lane was already rotating and they actually make it first.
Oh,
Bye-bye!
Casual snipes SMLZ! He didn't know what quite hit him.
Oh, and that saves them a tower. Potentially.
Disaster.
That was so long. What the hell is that range? That was insane.
SMLZ is known as the Chinese sniper. He just got sniped by Casual right there.
Oh yeah, that was some good counter sniping coming out. Doesn't really matter too much though, to be honest. Rogue Warriors still able to take down the second mid lane tower. Let's watch that fight again. Rogue Warriors, just look at their players. They're ready to rotate. They definitely have a good read on that. Going to be stuck out first, but he already has the Seraph's Embrace. Very difficult to take him down. And look at World 6's HP. He hasn't been having a very good game. Mouse runs Chelly over.
Great ultimate coming out from Doimby as well. Locked down Skarner so that even though he tried to pull him backwards, he was not moving anywhere.
Yeah. That's the sad part about Skarner into the Cassiopeia. You do need to be facing her.
SMLZ decides he's going to tank about 5 turret hits there.
Oh, Casual's waiting for it. He wants it.
Oh, no.
He read SMLZ so well. So SMLZ was looking for that angle for the W to try to snipe down Casual. And Casual just counter-sniped him.
Never change SMLZ. He's still a frontline play. He's going for the Runon's Hurricane.
You always want to go for Runon's Hurricane second as Jinx because, yeah, your biggest strength as an AD carry is that you do AoE damage. So with the Runon Hurricane, because your rockets also do AoE, and they do full AoE.
Well, we'll talk about Jinx builds later because
okay.
Rogue Warriors are going for a Baron attempt here. Uncontested so far. OMG are grouping up. This could start a big fight. Realm Walk comes in. No one decides to go for it. World 6 has been cut off from the rest of his team. Doimy's still trying to look for the fight. In fact, it's Doimy that's being dragged back by Skarner, but World 6 already incredibly low. We stop time for a little bit, but Rogue Warriors win the fight, picking off the Skarner.
Yep, just enough to say goodbye to World 6. Small freeze right there. And this was really well set up by Rogue Warriors.
You've got no jungler now. How do OMG try and contest this Baron buff? Looking to try and go for a fight. 3,000 hit points. Doiby's throwing down the Miasma, trying to slow them down. That's a smite that should come out. Flawless picks it up. Mouse flashes in. Gets a big slam. Icon gets knocked down first. Casuals on the back lines, trying to collapse onto SMLZ. Good damage on the Mouse, but he gets bursted down instantly. And Doiby's going forward in the back lines. Charlie's in trouble. SMLZ snipes him with the zap. Double kill picked up by Jinx.
Not enough damage coming out from Rogue Warriors. They're being forced back into the ramps because they can't deal with Rogue Warriors' front line right there. You can see the Seraph's Embrace, the Grey Health coming out from Tom Kench, forcing Charlie back and back again. What a well-played team fight from Rogue Warriors. Mouse especially with that flash straight into the back line forces so much position.
They're going to break the base as well. Mid lane Inhibitor and Inhibitor Turret are going to fall. Propelling Rogue Warriors even further ahead. Sion's already working on the top lane in a turret as well. Flawless is pushing down the bottom lane. They've already got 2 Infernals coming. The next Infernal spawns in 8 seconds.
This is so much RNG going in the way for Rogue Warriors, and they read that situation very well. They knew they had the better front line. It's the huge problem with Urgot. As Urgot, you don't do damage, and you're not really a tank. So whenever an enemy team is willing to run at you, you kind of have to fold your hand in that situation. Rogue Warriors just forced them into it.
He's got a Righteous Glory now, so he can start trying to do some of that running. But SMLZ's gone back to base. He's picked up a Hurricane as well as a Static Shiv. That's what I was going to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
A Shiv next or Rapid Fire can. Because I always thought that Jinx go IE, Static Shiv, and Rapid Fire.
Well, Hurricane's really important for your team fighting because your small bolts also do AoE damage. So the best case scenario for someone, a normal AD carry with a Hurricane, is you get 180% of your damage with all the bolts landing. But with Jinx, that actually goes up to 360%. So every attack with your best case scenario with a Hurricane, it's 3.6 attacks to an AD carry that doesn't have a Hurricane. That's why you always go that item.
He's incredibly far ahead as well. Looking across to him, Chelly doesn't have 2 items. He's sitting on the components for Blade of the Ruined King to go with his Quincy's Rage Blade.
This is
80% crit from SMLZ.
Yeah, and it's really important to notice why he's going for the Blade of the Ruined King. He needs more physical damage just to deal with the Doinby in the front line.
Icon steps up, tries to lock down SMLZ, gets good damage onto Jinx, but not enough. Meanwhile, the rest of Rogue Warriors just split pushing. Mouse is ushering in Baron buffed minions at the top side of the map. Bottom lane is being threatened by SMLZ and Kahlua. Mid lane is slowly being walked in by Doinby.
Oh, he's just going straight in?
Yeah, they want the Urgot. Don't look at the bottom lane. We want top lane because Mouse has tried to charge in. Urgot's able to retreat to his Inhibitor for defense. And look at that Righteous Glory. He wants someone charging forward, flashes in, throws back a Sion. It's a very tanky champion to try and throw back into your team. Just 4 members going for this fight, and he's dead! Where did Urgot go? He's disappeared from the map. Jelly finally shows up to the team fight. This entire time, SMLZ's killing the base. Kalua's now trying to walk back up and help out. Doinby falls past his passive. SMLZ behind the turret. Gets one. Maestro's going to fall. He has no one else to kill because 3 on 5. Rogue Warriors able to take down OMG. Moving straight towards the Nexus. A disaster of a team fight, but it doesn't matter. The revenge tour is complete. SMLZ goes to Chengdu, takes down OMG 2-0, and sends them a message. This is the Revenge Squad.
The Revenge Squad able to take down all of their former teams, and they did this one within 25 minutes. Last hurrah coming out from OMG, not able to shift the tides. It was so easy to read from Rogue Warriors. You just sit the Sion in front of the Urgot. Who is he going to flip? They held a 3v5 for close to 30 seconds, and then the cleanup crew of SMLZ, the man you're seeing here, able to win it for his team.
That's what I want to talk about, because we can talk about pick ban, we can talk about the unorthodox Urgot pick, and how OMG have not been performing, but what was that last team fight?
That was a last-ditch effort, and it wasn't very well executed at all.
I would understand, but no Chelly. No AD carry in that fight. They were split up, bottom lane was being pushed in, mid lane had Super Minions crashing on the Nexus as well. I can understand throwing that Hail Mary pass, but that was definitely not the time to do so.
Before we dive more into OMG's problems, we do have to congratulate the Avengers right here. 4 of these members were cut from their team for various different reasons, none of them really having to do with gameplay, and they've all found new identities on this Rogue Warrior team. Mouse picking up the carries, SMLZ forcing things early, Flawless being the best jungler on the Razzleplasm scale, and also Doinby just finding a better fit.
And then you have a rookie of Kahlua who's stepped in. Ooh. And he looks so good. And we've heard from supports that have worked for SMLZ before, which is not very vocal, doesn't really talk much. It's about learning how SMLZ likes to play. Kahlua has done it fantastically. That match showed it.
He sure has. That early rotation from Kahlua to send their bot lane into the mid lane and get that tempo advantage, that was beautiful to watch. Great understanding coming out from someone like a rookie. If you didn't tell me he was from YM, I would not have guessed.
And again, we always go back to the problems OMG are having. They brought in Casual this time around. Maestro looked like a decent support. He looked alright, but look, at some point it becomes a meme. You pick Aatrox, then you pick Urgot. Yes, he didn't do horrible, but there just doesn't seem to be any method or reason behind the swaps, the changes that OMG are making at the moment.
Yeah, he's pretty much like Pulse's elder brother that somehow made it to the professional scene, so we don't really understand him at all. But other than that, I think the big problem for OMG, Pulse likes to pick weird things in the top lane, just so you guys know.
I'm just making sure he's casted the next set, so I'm just making sure he's not behind me about to body you, Clement. That's a lot of BM.
I'll take the body. But anyway, OMG, their problem right here is the communication still seems very, very lacking, especially from their bot lane with their jungler. That first blood going over, that didn't make sense to me. In the first game as well, they had a good level 1 invade, and then they couldn't keep track of Flawless. So I think the junglers has been a huge point of problems from them, and you can I feel like it's filtering through the rest of the team as well, where they're constantly swapping out people and we're not seeing improvements.
And that makes it a third team so far from the second team from the Eastern Conference that's picked up an undefeated cross-conference one. We still have one team to go, which is going to be RNG, who go up against Snake in the next match for today. And if they are able to pick up a victory there, that's 3 teams from the Eastern Conference that didn't drop a single game against the West.
That's the victory lap for the East, the beasts of the East. We thought that the West had the better teams. They had the more of teams that had better established names, but they taken it so hard on the roster. So many people aren't showing up, whereas the potential from the East, they're rising and shining.
And it's not just going to be a victory lap coming out from the East if RNG can pick up a win, but with that, Rogue Warriors are also able to complete their revenge tour. All 4 of the members of former teams have been able to take down their previous teams while they've been on Rogue Warriors. To break down that series a little bit further, let's send it back to the analyst desk.
Thank you so much, guys. And SMLZ, he has done it. He has got that win. I have to admit, some of the photoshops in the crowd were fairly terrifying, but he did look reasonably happy. He did not smile. The world did not end, but he did get revenge against his former team.
Yes, he did, in very quick timing. Game 2, 25 minutes. Game 1, 26 minutes. Both of them were smashing successes for the Rogue Warrior squad.
Absolutely. And of course, the way that we saw that happen was Rogue Warriors, they didn't just play through SMLZ. You know, we saw them utilize the strategy early on, and perhaps it may have been something that OMG expected, seeing as we heard from World 6 and 5, you know, we know how to play around SMLZ. You either build an entire team around him or you do not succeed.
Yeah.
But Rogue Warriors show, hey, he can take a back seat this time. Doinby is going to step forward. Mouse is going to get first blood.
Yeah, well, Okay. Here's where I step back.
Okay.
The first blood was not because the Rogue Warriors setting up a success. It was because OMG just kind of gave it to them when they were looking for an invaded 2 people. So that was just them not expecting the enemy team being in the position that they were. So that's a big question mark from that point forward. But I want to start off by just talking about the champion select for me. Because we talked about the casual coming into the top lane. What was the one thing I said he should pick?
Something tanky,
a
like
tank,
a Maokai,
or
a Shen.
A Scion. They let the Scion go through to Mouse. Mouse has a fantastic game. And I saw great picks coming in from OMG. First pick Rise. Beautiful.
Great.
Kog'Maw coming through. So that's why I was like,
all
right.
Braum in front of it.
A team fight composition. We love that here. Like, that's an identity.
Yeah. And then even a Skarner to pull people in, to find picks and lanes. And now...
Urgot. So here's like... But, like, Urgot's a fine champion if you can play through it. It's kind of like a Darius, right? You pick up a Darius on the top side of the map, you know exactly what a Darius is going to provide for your team, so play through the Darius. What in this composition is going to play through an Urgot? Maybe a Skarner. Because it comes in that 2v2 and he pushes you away with the side, like, that death is not going to come in the top side of the map. In fact, a lot of his focus went to the bottom side of the map. So it was just essentially saying, Urgot, you're going to be doing fine in your island, and my focus is going to be bottom side of the map. But then after you leave that island, you don't know what to do anymore. You're unemployed. Like you lost.
He's hunting down.
Like it's completely gone. I know.
Going through the newspaper, circling advertisements.
Basically, that Hank Hill movie. Hank. Oh no, I don't know his name. Either way, all I'm saying is the man is stranded on an island, and then he's useless
Tom
when he leaves
Hanks.
I call him Hank Hill. Anyways, just while that's in your mind for a little bit, while that's settling down, I'm just saying Urgot was useless.
I mean, that said, he throws propane and propane-like accessories.
It may be in the next skin. But rounding back to what the composition did for them, the Urgot doesn't fit. So here are the good things from OMG. And that leads into the first replay was very strong because they bring in their new players for themselves. Maestro did a fantastic job this game. I think that the communication that he brought was much better than what Five brought for the team. In fact, the first gank to the bottom side of the map worked well. And then, in fact, when Flawless comes in to try and invade, they collapse on it. These are two things that we really wanted to see when it came to OMG's communication. Icon comes through. Maestro is here. In fact, you have
the bottom lane and Casual
coming in to punish this invade coming in from Rogue Warriors. So even though we heavily criticized OMG's communication in Game 1, it does get patched up in Game 2.
It does.
So that's why even though I have massive criticisms to what the composition provides, the communication is much better because they actually do back up Skarner here in the jungle. And then the first gank that comes through bottom lane was set up perfectly. So there we have it. OMG's did something really good in Game 2.
But that said, when you juxtapose that against the likes of Rogue Warriors, who just look like they're on a whole nother level, almost as if they don't even need to speak to each other. Because, again, we hear from this about people who play with SMLZ all the time. He doesn't communicate. He doesn't really talk much as a player. He just kind of goes and you have to feel for it. Killua is on that guy's wavelength. He is almost always there to keep his AD carry alive. And it just looks so great when they're able to pull off a team fight that it looks like they should lose, and then they turn around and win it.
Yeah, and so the team fight we were talking about is that when they go straight towards the mid lane. And here's the thing, this is OMG starting this one off. This is what's great about OMG, looking to start the fight. The stun comes through, and World 6 cannot capture Doinby. The only problem with that, the Seraph Embrace coming through, means that even if he did get picked up, he's not going to be losing too much HP, and the collapse comes in from Rogue Warriors. So what looked like a pretty proper fight from OMG turns into complete disaster.
And of course, SMLZ stepping up aside and getting himself caught. He's not able to get that final kill on the end. He really wanted it onto Casual, but gets harpooned and pulled in.
There we go. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Put that on a highlight reel. That's why you're picking Urgot. But there we go. And I think that overall in this game, I think there were great things about trying these new players. And I think that the first real, I would say, positive in the substitutions that they've been making, we saw it here today. Maestro had a great game. I want to see more Maestro. Going into the next set, when they go back into their own conferences, more Maestro the better, because I want to really see growth coming out of this team, and I think that's the first one that I do love about it.
Well, if Maestro can continue to conduct their way to OMG success, it will be quite exceptional. That said, our MVP will go to Doinby for his Cassiopeia performance in that game. You saw him stepping up in that last team fight, 6, 2, and 9. Not only does he play supportive mid laners in case they want to play a protective AD carry composition, he still can carry his heart out.
And the best thing about picking the Cassiopeia is that you do a little bit of both. A lot of space you can provide for your AD carry with the Cassiopeia Miasma. So a lot of that was essentially you wop up, and second replay put it really well. You try and capture the Cassiopeia.
You walked into 3 people and then killed them.
You throw it, that too. A lot of damage coming out of her. But also the Miasma means that you really can't step forward. You're grounded. And if you want to get past the Cassiopeia to deal with the damn AD carry, first you have to get past the Miasma. Then you got to get past the Cassiopeia who's dealing that much damage. And then you have to get to the AD carry. So that's why there were so many layers of protection for SMLZ that if you're Chelly, you're kind of jealous.
Unhappy,
You're just jealous because it's like, who's my tank?
Jelly Chelly?
Who's my tank in this composition? You don't have one.
Yeah, bit of a tragedy. We did see Maestro attempt to step forward and try to protect him. There was a valiant defense at the inhibitor at the end of the game, I think we saw from Chelly. He is stepping forward, which is a good sign, but still there's just some disconnect between that and the rest of OMG. We heard it from the casters that we saw the valiant defense from OMG to stall it out, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, I think that if he wants to step up, it has to be the coaching staff of OMG that steps up and give them a better composition. Because Casual's coming in and he has good movements through the composition, but like he just needs to be a better champion other than Aatrox and Urgot. So if he can pick a proper champion for the team, then Chelly's going to be a little bit more confident stepping up knowing that he has a front line.
Hear that, Pulse? Better champion than Urgot. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna defend you, man. Get out of here.
Get
Get out of here.
Hey. We'll tell you what. We'll get out of here for just a few minutes. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back for Snake versus RNG in just about 10 minutes.